Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe. Look who's back on the screen with us.
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Obviously, she didn't read our press release or she wouldn't be back. But there she is. Niki Noto Palmer, reporter, journalist, TV host. And Dan, was that before we went live, she was eating chocolate cake?
Yeah, that's my kind of breakfast right there.
No, it's
cake.
oatmeal. It's oatmeal
okay.
with a little bit of chocolate collagen, and I'm sitting here staring at my bowl because it's half eaten, but that's okay. It can wait.
Feel free to eat while we're talking. We'll just cover it for you.
As I was shoving it down my gullet before we went live. No big deal.
Hey, thanks for coming on so early with us. You were such a delight last time. I said, we got to get her back, and we just love talking to you. We didn't get a chance last time to talk about Michael. Michael, your husband, played for the Falcons. I think we mentioned it. We really didn't focus on it, and we won't here, but I just thought while you were the in-between, since I thought, I wonder what it's like to be the wife of an NFL player. And I mean, he was tight end for the Falcons and for the Steelers. What was the other team? Wasn't he with not the Eagles, of course, but
No, the Steelers. Yeah. So he was with the Falcons and the Steelers.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you didn't say Eagles because growing up a Dallas Cowboys fan, Eagles and Redskins, you just can't do it.
That's right. Right. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about being married to Michael.
Sure.
What was it like being the wife of an NFL player, and what's he doing now? I don't think you told us.
Yeah, so that was a crazy time in our life, right? That was when I was traveling a lot weekly, so we were kind of like ships passing through the night. More often than times, I would fly in whatever game I was doing. I would fly into Pittsburgh to try and make his game, or fly back home to Atlanta, depending on the year. And we literally had the same off day, which was such a cool little gift and blessing. I don't think we really knew it at the time because we were both so tired on Mondays. But that was a really cool thing that we had together with our schedules was that, we had that Monday, Tuesday together. So, but it was interesting to say the least. I will say I never thought that I would end up with someone that was playing a professional sport. But it was really cool because at that time in our life, like I said, we were both in really high pressure jobs where when people say jump, you say how high, and you don't know what your week looks like. And honestly, neither one of us had, we weren't one of these upper echelon, and he would tell you this, he wasn't one of those upper echelon tier guys that had all of this guaranteed money. He made minimum salary, which we're not knocking that, but he wasn't, his signing bonus was maybe $5,000. He bought a laptop and Joseph A. Bank suits, where I joked he bought one and got maybe
and got the store. Yeah,
right.
You get a whole franchise for free when you buy a suit there. Yeah.
So that was our experience, and it was an interesting journey. It was fun. It was hard a lot of the times. It was, a lot of people don't realize that these types of guys, meaning guys like Michael, that, like I said, are just sort of the average Joe, right? Like they make minimum. They're honestly, whether you know it or not, they're trying out for their job every week when they hit the field. So there was nothing guaranteed, which is funny because he's in a profession now that nothing is guaranteed, which I was like, you just feel so comfortable with your back up against the wall. But that's just his makeup. And so, a lot of people might not understand that when you're in the NFL, you just get paid per week. So you get a weekly paycheck. And that's why, unfortunately, I think so many guys don't prepare, if you will, for when that paycheck is gone. And I think he said he did the calculations. He's a financial planner now and does, financial planning for families and things like that, and investments and whatnot. And he really does have a heart for that. But he had to go through that, right, when he was in the NFL, preparing for, hey, week 3, if I get cut, what am I going to do financially, right? So that little nest egg started when he started playing in the NFL, which I am forever grateful for, because he had to learn a lot of how to bob and weave and be prepared for the unknown. And that's something that I think is probably a misconception, is that, you see all these, he was playing in Atlanta with Tony Gonzalez. Tony wasn't losing his job, right? But the guy backing up Tony and taking some reps and if he didn't make that block and if he dropped this pass, those were things that were a knock against him. And he always says this story when he was in Pittsburgh with Coach Tomlin, which is so great. He said, I'm not going to treat you equally, but I'm going to treat you fairly. And what he meant by that was, and I'll bring it back to the Tony G reference. If Tony drops a ball in the end zone, he's going to be fine, right? I mean, 99% of the time, he's going to make that pass. Michael Palmer drops the pass, a touchdown pass in the end zone, things might look a little different for his career, right? And where he's going to be on the roster going into the next week. So that's what was probably the most interesting, because you don't hear about that type of dynamic, right? In that world. So
yeah. Very true. Very interesting, too. We're talking to Niki Noto Palmer. Now, Niki, your career reporting and anchoring and just you have a love for sports. We were talking before we went on about the Braves and how well the Braves are doing. So we'll knock on wood when we say this, but talk about the excitement that you have there around the Braves.
Yeah, so I mean, this has been a 19-year drought since the Braves have been in the National League Division Series.
Yes.
So that's really cool for our city right now. I mean, especially just being in this pandemic, and people miss sports so much. And I give credit to a lot of people that are having to make really difficult decisions in terms of figuring out how to make this work, right? I mean, you've seen all the cardboard cutouts in the stands and things like that. And family members of the Braves actually got to go to the last game, which was really cool. So this is an exciting time if you're an Atlanta Braves fan, if you're a baseball fan. Yeah. We play today at 2 p.m. against the Marlins. So let's hope we've got one game down. I would love for them to just win 3 in a row. That would make, I think, the city of Atlanta so happy to finally just knock it out.
Yeah, that would be great. And too bad we can't all be there at the stadium to cheer them on. That's the hard part, is not being able to sit there and have the game experience.
I know. And, I'm going to be sitting here while my kids are having nap time, trying to keep it together while watching the game here at home,
Cheering silently.
That's right.
Niki Noto Palmer here. She's a reporter, journalist, TV host, wife, and mother. How are the kids?
Well, they're alive, so that's great. I mean, we have made it since March. We're finally getting in the groove. I have one at school, one at home, and one down here laying by my feet that has 4 legs. So kids are well. Yeah, we're doing good.
Now, how do you, both of you, he's not in the NFL anymore, but he's still being a financial advisor and a planner. And you, with what you do, how do you juggle your careers, and how do you squeeze God in there?
Oh, man. Well, that's a great question. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this right out of the gate, that I'm very fortunate that I have an equal partner, if you will. I married someone that respects me and respects me greatly in the sense of my job and what I enjoy doing and how to make that work. And so it's funny because he is such a planner, right? And so often we sit down and we go through our calendar, and I'm like, okay, this day, do we need to call your mom? Do we need to call a babysitter? Can you make this work? And he's also the type of guy that family is super important to him. And so a few months ago, he actually had the opportunity to move his office 10 minutes down the road. This morning, he walked our little girl to school. And so he always knew after the NFL, family's super important. Our faith is super important to us. And he sought out specifically a job where it's something he enjoys doing. He's helping people, he's serving people, but at the same time that there was flexibility to where he could be the most present husband and dad, right? And so him having his office 10 minutes down the road and being in a profession where he can take meetings whenever he wants. He can do them on Zoom, he can do them in person. And so there's a lot of flexibility there. Now, granted, he plans things weeks out in advance, but he definitely, in addition to plan certain pockets of hours, if you will, just to be flexible. So, and I'm going to call him out. He also schedules in there a movie, which he went to yesterday. So there is that. That's where he gets recharged, re-energized. So he puts that on his calendar too.
A movie. I didn't even know there's movies coming out now. It
I know.
Seems like they just kind of went away.
That's his thing, by himself once a month. That's like me going to get a manicure and pedicure, I guess. And for him, it's going to a movie once a month. So he adds that into his calendar as well.
Good for him.
We're talking about her husband, Michael, and about her career. Okay, so vacation time. All right, I've got to go there, right? Because my wife is a planner, always has been. In the beginning, we've been married 30-something years. In the beginning, pretty much everything was planned out. And I'm the opposite. I like to kind of wing it. So what we've done over the years is we give a little to each side. So are you both the same? It sounds like you're both kind of planners. And what would vacation look like for you?
Oh man. So my husband, back to the finance thing. When we go on vacation, he never wants to feel financial burden, right? So oftentimes everything is planned out in the sense of, hey, here's what we're booking. And I really don't want to swipe my card when I'm on vacation. I want to know that when I'm there, that I can live it to the fullest, that we have planned for this, that we can experience this, and that we're not going to walk away feeling like, oh man, I didn't get to do this. So that's when Michael comes alive, is in vacation mode. It's so funny. And then for me, vacation is something that when we didn't have children, we did that a lot. We love to travel. We love to immerse ourselves in different cultures. I think Israel was probably our favorite trip that we got to take. And we went for close to 2 weeks. And that was really just life-changing for us and for our faith. And so frequently, especially around Easter time, I love pulling out my journals from that trip because it's so eye-opening. And even now when you read the Gospels, I mean, they truly pop out at you just from being in certain locations. So, for me, my personality, I always like having something to look forward to. And I remember when I was traveling all the time, my Delta app just constantly had flights in there, right? Going and coming. And then once we started adding the vacation in there, it looked a little bit better. And then once the pandemic hit, 2 trips of ours were taken away. And we're just like, when is this vacation going to come? So we're kind of in that mode right now, thinking through, okay, what does this time next year look like? Where are we going? And are we coming back?
Yeah. Niki Noto Palmer, such a joy to have on. You can follow her on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social apps at Niki Noto Palmer. Also the website, which she says, I don't even do the website much anymore, just mostly social. NikiNotoPalmer.com. Follow her and just keep up with how awesome Niki Noto Palmer is.
Oh, well, you guys are awesome. I enjoy coming on here so much.
We enjoy having you, and we would love to have you back before Christmas time. And love your stories. You are a natural girl. Let's do this. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst,
and I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.